Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kunlo-Sitep, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Snyder, with my wonderful co-host, Mina Kunlo-Sitep. Hey, Mina.
Hey, Jacqueline.
Okay, guys, so today we are going to dig into a topic, and the topic, the phrase is not my own, but I'm going to share it with you. So this phrase is math, not drama. And I'm going to attribute this to my life coach, Stacy Fisher of the W Collective. If you're not already following her, you can follow her on Instagram at the W Collective, just the letter W. And also her website, she has an amazing one. She coaches entrepreneurs. So if you feel like you need a life coach.
And she's taught under Brooke Castillo, which is amazing.
Under the Life Coach School, which also Life Coach School podcast. Shout out, amazing episodes that she's coming out with daily. And so I've been coaching with her for over a year now, and I've had a business coach, but I decided a life coach with the idea of entrepreneurship and how to meld all the things together, be it personal and business. And so math, not drama is something that she has said to me over and over and over, and you have probably heard me say it. And we're going to dig into that today because at this time in the world, we're unsure. We're unsure of what's happening with social distancing, with the economy, but we do know that if we have the numbers in front of us, we can figure things out.
Right.
So again, we are recording this in the time of social distancing and children being home. So if you do happen to hear kids walk in, we probably are not even going to edit some of that out because we want you guys to see that we too are doing this. We're also balancing working from home with our children around, with our pets, with our spouses.
Our spouses, he's singing out there. Like, is that what you were hearing?
Yeah. I've had to tell my husband who sings all the time, I'm like, I am recording currently.
So bear with us because this is the new life, the new normal of working at home all together.
Right. All right. So let's get into this. So we're hearing this conversation in our mastermind, The Top, which is our multi-six-figure to multi-seven-figure female-owned businesses. And it's really interesting watching how this is all unfolding. Some of them are doing really well with sales still because, you know, when you have that momentum behind you, there's the momentum stays, or there's certain products that they're selling that are super relevant to right now. For example, hobbyists or elderberry syrup, right? And so, but they also have teams. They have teams of, 2-3 people to teams of 20 plus people. And they are ultimately non-essential businesses, right? So at the time that we're recording this, is it shelter in place or stay in place orders that are being given?
Yeah. And a lot of that is state by state since there's no national mandate. So that's what makes this really hard to tell you guys exactly what to do because there's not a clear definition of, is it safety in place?
It might be.
Yeah. Not a clear definition of
stay
what
home.
It's basically hashtag stay home. There's not a clear definition of what that is like. What will happen if you don't abide by that? What is considered essential and non-essential? Can you still go to work? Can you still have one employee come to your office? There's lots of questions that we all have. And I think that honestly, even our state leaders might not even have the answers.
Right. Everything's sort of unfolding. So let's talk about numbers. So that's what we were talking about, right? We're at this point, we're talking about if it's just you, if you're just a solopreneur, then we have to figure out how your business is going to sustain or run during social distancing from an online perspective. And right now we're just wrapping up Bestseller Secrets Challenge, which we did. We have Multi-Stream Machine launching on March 27th for a few days that it's open with like multiple platforms. But we're edged to the end of the week of people figuring this out. And if you're a solopreneur, you don't have to lay yourself off. You just have to figure out if you can keep selling, what you're selling, and if you're not selling, what else are you working on? Right. Then we have our people that have people that work for them, and can they afford to keep this team going from afar? Can their businesses run from afar? And what do they need to look at? So one of the conversations that came up this morning with one of our masterminders was, does she invest in raw goods that she needs to sustain her business, right? The core material, the raw goods, or does she not? Because the supplier of that is not an essential business and she's not going to be able to keep getting that product. Well, one of our other masterminders had to actually stop her business because she couldn't get the raw goods because it was stopped being imported in from somewhere else. So I want you guys to look at your numbers and think, first what you have to do is look and say, do I have enough right now for my family, right? To pay our bills, to buy groceries, look at the numbers, look at your savings if you have them, or what you're bringing in and think, okay, do we have enough right now to feel comfortable or slightly uncomfortable, but are we okay?
So in that case, you're looking at expenses, right? So what are you needing to earn? In that case, what are you bringing in? And then the second part of that would be, what are your expenses? So what do you need to keep moving forward, even in this different scenario of being home altogether?
Yes. And what can you maybe cut, or you're automatically going to reduce it, right? Automatically, we're not going to be spending money on Starbucks. Gas is minimal. Even car maintenance, probably not going to be doing that because we're not driving around a lot.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the deaths, for traffic accidents have gone down.
Right. People are off the roads.
Yeah.
So look at your essentials of what you guys need, and also thinking like probably our money is going to groceries. We're not eating out. I mean, this is an amazing time to get back to basics, because you look at your expenses and you're like, well, I was spending a lot on that, right? This is tax season technically.
Right. Here, the drive-thrus are still open, and there's a big push for supporting local and local carryout and local pickup and everything like that. I'm kind of gray area. I actually have just been holed up, self-quarantined with my girls, and not just because I'm so concerned about like leaving the house. I'd have to take the girls with me, all these different things. Though there is part of me that understands that those businesses need support. So, I think we're all kind of like unsure of how to navigate any of this.
Right. But the point is that we just want you guys to look at your numbers and say, all right, this is what I have and this is what I need. Right.
Right.
And then you're going to decide what you need there. Then I want you to expand out into your business and think, well, what does my business need to continue moving forward? Are there certain raw goods that you guys need on hand? Is there packaging? Is there certain stuff that you need to lean into right now versus lean away from? Which Bestseller Secrets Challenge, we talked about that. We talked about their best sellers and their best offers, and not to just be throwing spaghetti at the wall. So ultimately throwing money at a whole bunch of different products when maybe all those products are not the thing that's going to bring you in the revenue you're looking for.
Right. Also, I think that it's important to try to shift a few things, because right now is where we're in very deep into it. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. So if you need to shift some things around, for instance, Capital One is offering, you have to call them, a month by month basis where they'll just waive your late fees for that month. So for instance, you don't have to make the April payment. It's not due till May. American Express is 120 days. There's lots of, I think all school loans are doing forbearance, but it's a matter of you calling and making sure, because right now, we're all kind of in limbo. So if you want that cash on hand right now to invest in raw goods, then maybe that's what you do. Also, you probably want to keep your internet, because if your kids are home or you're working from home, you do want that access. The really, really, one of the silver linings for this quarantine is the fact that we all have access, right? Never have we had quarantine before or a pandemic and had so much access as a whole, as a nation, right? Usually it's like third world countries or whatever. So I would say, looking at that, know the difference between an expense and kind of like investment, like something that gets at a return. So I would never cancel my Hulu or Disney Plus or Netflix.
Those are investments.
They are. They're giving me back peace and sanity.
So when we're talking about numbers, I want you guys to just look at your numbers and look at where you are saving already, personally and in business, from the things that you guys need to do. Then when you're looking at your business, what Mina's talking about is, are there things you could or should be investing into for your business so that you can get through this time, because there is an end to this. There will be, the businesses will run the way that we've expected them to run again. But what are you guys going to add to your lives right now? What are you going to learn? How are you going to pivot, adjust, and adapt right now to come out stronger in the end? So is that you are going to lean into social, right? Are you going to lean into selling online? So when we're talking about numbers, so this is something that I did. Basically, I'm just going to kind of walk you through what I did, because if you listen to this podcast long enough, you know that I come from a place of scarcity. Mina and I are very different. We both know that we can work hard and make money. We both know that if we need something, we can work and we can find money. We don't come from a place of not being able to access it, because we know that we can always kind of turn something into something.
Yeah, we can get scrappy and creative with it.
Right. But my mindset, which I work on, and I've worked with Stacy on this of the W Collective, is the scarcity part of, we're going to run out. There is 0 at the end of this, right? And so from a point of things shutting down or my husband not working on Broadway, I went to this place of, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And so he's the one who reminded me, math, not drama. And we looked at our numbers and we looked at our savings and we looked at all of our expenses. And we thought, okay, well, this is the stuff that we're not spending on automatically because we don't have the ability to. These are the places we may have to pull back, for example, which really is not really pulling back because we can't access it anyways. These are the things we have to keep going, and we have to make sure that we have enough cash on hand to basically buy groceries. So we looked at our numbers and we realized we have 3 to 6 months worth of what we need if I didn't bring in another dollar, like $0, right? Then it was like, okay, but I am still working. I still have my clients. We still have the product boss. We still have all of these other things. So it means that we can continue. And because our businesses have also done a very similar thing, we also can continue to pay our team. We have a virtual team. So our team can work from home, whether or not it's essential or non-essential, right? They can all work from home. So I want you guys to do that for yourself so that you're sure, or you know what's happening. Because for example, if your business is a side hobby, right, then maybe it's just adding to, maybe there's a certain amount you want your business to make right now to pay for something specific. It could be as easy as Disney Plus, or $500 in groceries for the month, or that it just kind of is able to pay and sustain itself. And then you can also think, if you guys are bringing in money for your household, or maybe this is the time you can save, what would a good, better, and best look like for you for sales right now?
I think that's a good reminder that people are still selling, right? One of the things that we're going to do as these weeks unfold is really give people ideas on what they could be doing, in their specific businesses. But there's lots of industries that are just getting creative. And I want to remind everybody of that, right? Is that after you go through the numbers, then you go through, what do I do now, right? So for instance, the wedding industry, there's lots of people that are working with hotels, for instance, because those are both industries that maybe are not going to be thriving during these next couple months, right? So they're working with hotels and seeing how can we put people on the books again, right? Or can we move this virtually? Also, a lot of the local restaurants are doing take-it-home kits. Here locally, they're doing a do-it-yourself pizza kit. There's a do-it-yourself donut kit. There's all these things that you take home. I saw an Italian one. And so people are pivoting and they're getting scrappy because the world is in this together. We've never done this before. Figuring that out for yourself, for your own household, knowing what how you're going to tackle this next, let's say, 4 weeks. What do you think, Jacqueline? Like, what should they be looking at as far as numbers go?
I'm going to say, and if you listen to any of the money gurus, they always say at least 3 months. Mm-hmm. That's just always been, right? And so, and if you look to, let's say, China, it was about 3 months that they were shut down, and we're going to see what happens as they reopen. But things can change in 3 months. So I would tell you guys, look to see what you need or what you can do for the next 3 months, and work in, and I mean, we're really at the beginning of any quarter. So
yeah, we are.
Let's look to this quarter and what you need to do, because some of us are rolling into really busy seasons for our businesses with an alternative thing now added to it, right? Maybe wedding season was your busy season, but there aren't weddings. But how can you support brides that are having to postpone? There's ways to do that. There's ways to add joy. There's ways to see if they're willing to invest in gift cards with you guys so that when their wedding is back up, they know that you were supporting them now and that you're top of mind for someone who really helped them through a time like this, since we're talking about bridal.
Yeah, it could be video consultations, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted to really point out what you had said. China is back open. They're actually manufacturing again. So that just goes to show you there is hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel if China got through it, right? I also remember China, during the beginning of the year, there was the threat of the trade wars. Then there was COVID-19. Then there was, actually, it would probably be Chinese New Year first, and then COVID-19. So it was like so many straws on that camel's back, you know? And now they're back open, right? And manufacturing is happening. There's some people that were hit during that time, some people that weren't. But that just goes to show you that once we get through it, the wheels will start turning again.
Right. And pay attention though, because they are ahead of us. So let's see, we're going to pay attention. But when we go back to numbers, I think let's give them some action steps. So one, I want you guys to look at your personal numbers, right? Math, not drama. Look at the numbers that you have and see, are we good? If I didn't bring in another single dollar, are we good with savings? If not, then what do we need to be doing to support? Are you able to still work? Are you not? If you're not, let's say you have a job that you can't get to anymore and this is the time to get scrappy, right? This is the time where you take your product and you lean in, because your product could be, you're probably already sitting on supplies. This could be the thing that helps to start. It's like that kick in the tush where you're needing to lean into your product, because this is the thing that's going to make you money.
Right. So I think that first step was look at your numbers. So the first thing is list out on a sheet of paper, list 1 through 20, what your monthly expenses are. So I would start monthly and then move to 3 months, you know. So monthly, write down all your expenses and look through there and see, okay, I know this is going to end. Who can I call to maybe defer or anything if it happens to be like a big bill? So that could be credit cards. There's lots of people that if you pay rent on a retail building, so you could ask. This is times when people are doing different negotiations because you're not in there. You were forced to shut down. Also, if there's different things, like, for instance, I called Adobe Creative Suite, and this was a tip that Larissa Loden gave me, was that they're giving like 90 days, up to 90 days where they're willing to push off Creative Cloud. And that's $50 a month, right?
So meaning she doesn't have to pay for that.
Right. So for me, for 90 days, but remember, I've been paying for years at this point.
Same with Shopify. They're also they're extending like free trials. So if you're a product-based business and you've always thought about having a website, this is a way that you could actually get into making yourself a website and not have the payment that you have to do monthly.
Right.
So I think that step 2 is looking for not discounts, but let's say deference to payments, late payments, what systems you use that are offering you guys options for free trials, for knocking payments back to another date. Where can you look at those numbers and see where you can save? And the other option is, where can you lean in to sell more to make more money?
This is where you get to dream and be like, this is the time I needed to be as creative as I want to, sell more things. All the assets you have are the ones the inventory sitting there that's not being sold. You know, we talked about Amazon this last episode that we did. And right now, a lot of people that were formerly doing fulfilled by Amazon that are not considered medical supplies or not in those specific categories, because it's not everything in those categories that are being taken in, they're now doing fulfilled by merchant, right? You fulfill yourself. So a lot of people that I've been hearing are like, yeah, once April 5th rolls around, just send in all your stuff. And I'm just like, no, obviously don't send on your stuff. Keep some of your stuff too, because you never know what's going to happen, and you can sell what you have on hand. So use that in mind right now. What do you have on hand on your shelves that you can sell wherever you need to sell it? And that's a way of making money, even if you're selling virtually or you're getting creative or you're rethinking that whole idea. So that was the third and final step, is rethink it and then do it, right?
Yeah. And I think that just to add to that at the very end of it too, is if there's money available right now, there are small business loans, there's lines of credit, there's things that banks are trying to make available. If you have a core product that you know you can sell your product all day, every day. So for example, one of our students sells gold. and she needs to buy more gold. One of our students sells elderberry and she needs to buy more berries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the core of their business. If they don't have it, they don't have a business. So if there is something that you absolutely need and you know that you have the cash or the ability to get a loan and pay it back because your business is a functioning business, then it might be the time that you invest into a bit more of that raw good for you to keep your business going should the fulfillment be cut off at some point. Now, at the other hand, we have some of our masterminders, like in the top, for example, that make jewelry and they have tons of components. And so instead of worrying about getting stuff from all the other places, they're making things that are new out of what they already have because, like Mina said, you've got that inventory on hand. So only you know what's best for your business. But like Mina said, like you get scrappy, you get creative, and you adapt.
Right. And remember, it is temporary.
And this is the time that we're going to see when you go to the gym and you work really hard and you have those really amazing results at the end. I'm starting to try and use the word curious. I'm curious what's going to happen. I'm curious to see how people are going to shift and adjust their businesses. And I want you guys to lean into it in the same way. I'm curious if I do this, what that result will be. And you're going to get the support of a community. So we want to help you right now to keep your businesses going today, working on your systems, your visibility, and your sales, and keep your business going. And right now is the time for you guys to work on your businesses and get educated and homeschool yourself.
Yes. Thanks, everybody.
This episode is over, but it doesn't have to end. Head over to our Facebook group, search for the Product Boss Biz Community, or the link is also in the show notes. Come connect with other product bosses just like you. We'll see you in there.
If you love the Product Boss podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, share, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time, Product Bosses, let's make it happen.